Okay. Maybe I blew up at Rory. Maybe he didn't deserve that abuse. I'll admit that much. I was scared. So many odd things were happening around me, and I didn't handle it very well. First I met Sammy, then I lost Sammy. Then I met Rory, who had lost Carrie. For a moment, I considered saying that we were alike, but I often have to remind myself that I didn't really know Sammy. We met only once, but still, I can't get her off my mind.
Okay, so what's troubling you, Alex?
How could you tell something's troubling me?
You're making your I'm thinking face.
Mainly, I'm thinking about what Vella said. About detaching your soul from your body or whatever. She seemed convinced that Sammy had done that. But somehow that just feels wrong. Sammy was taken by something. She struggled and then she tried to fight them off. It doesn't seem like she willed her mind to separate from her body. I don't know, it's just... Ever since then, I've just had this terrible dark gloom following me. No matter what I do, I can't shake this feeling. I just feel like all my focus has been on the wrong thing all this time. I feel like Michael's excitement over finding the soul survivors made me forget about finding Sammy. That pisses me off. We should be out there looking for her.
Where do you think you'd look for her? Do you really even know anything about her?
I don't know, maybe I'll...
Alex! I'm home! Come down!
We'll resume this conversation later.
Hey, what's up? You look different. Did you get taller? Always getting taller.
I don't know, Mom. How was work?
Terrible. I've slept at the office for the past few weeks. I smell, I need a shower, and I don't even work in fast food anymore.
How's the project coming? Everything done?
Yeah, it's done. Alex, would you mind sitting down for a bit? I need to talk to you about something serious.
What's wrong?
Alex, it's... well, basically, they let everyone go at work. They fired everyone in my department. So, looks like I'm out of work for a while.
Holy crap, can they do that? Weren't you, like, the project lead? How can they fire you when you're the boss?
Well, everyone has a boss, Alex. But it's going to be okay. Just things are going to be tight for a while.
But don't we have savings? Like, you have money, right?
Yeah, I have a bit. I spent most of it on your last semester.
But I had a college fund! That should have been separate from your unemployment fund!
Well, Alex, it was! But I had budgeted for you and your sister to spend only 4 years at college. You graduated in 5 1/4. That money had to come from somewhere.
So what do we do?
Well, Mr. Bachelor's degree, how about you get a job? I paid a lot of money for that fancy degree of yours. Doesn't have to be today, but by the end of the week, you should at least have some interviews lined up. Okay, you can go.
Alex, take a step back. Our mom works really hard. It's not her fault you need to get a job.
You knew this would come eventually.
Come on, don't you want to work for yourself? Put that degree of yours to use? Mom did everything for us. And now we can't repay her this way. Just be nice, play it cool. Go punch a wall or throw the panda or something. Don't let her actually see how you're acting.
I hate when we act this way. We didn't do this before. What happened to us?
When did you start acting this way, man? You love your mom, and you're grateful for everything she's done. Why can't you just do a better job of showing her that? Let's do this. Next time you feel like being a first-class a-hole, don't. Sounds pretty simple to me. Just don't be mean. Yeah, it's easy to not be a jerk, but I just want to know why you've changed. Have you changed, though? Yeah, you've totally changed. But can you change back?
Hey, Alex, it's your... No, I already said there was no time for that. Okay, look, kiddo, I gotta go. Say hi to your sister for me.
I couldn't deal with this. I was going to unplug this phone. I winced every time this stupid thing rang. I was having this recurring dream. It was a weird dream. The sort of dream that shouldn't be scary because the imagery is actually pretty tame. But still, no matter what I did, I just couldn't shake the feeling the dream gave me the next morning. There's this woman. She's a woman made of plastic and we're watching her. Yes, we are, you and I. We observe her motionless form and discuss the state of her condition. We're not doctors in the dream. We have no intention of helping her. But at the same time, I don't think we want to hurt her. There's a third person there. But she doesn't speak. In fact, we never see her face. I think she's judging us. In a way, you and I are trying to impress her. You speak more than I do, and for some reason you're a woman. But I guess that isn't so strange now, is it? Okay. I'm going to say it. I don't know if you've noticed. I certainly did. In fact, I'd been trying to ignore it all along. You see, there was a figure in my house. It followed me around. It was lurking in the corner of my eyes at all times. Was this why my mood had been so strange? Why I felt so weird since I last saw everyone? No, I don't think that was it. Something told me the figure wasn't bad. It had been here a while. Haven't you noticed it? It had been here since I returned home from college. Maybe even before. I think I needed to speak with it. It was materialized. It was no longer transparent. Was it an entity? Why the hell was it living in my house?
Get out! I don't want you here! Do you understand what I'm saying? Leave! Be gone! Wish Vella had taught me Banish.
You look at an illegal copy of yourself. Do not gape in awe. Stare in horror at the atrocity before you.
What the hell are you doing here? This isn't even a real TV show! Do you even speak English? Strong silent type, I see. Okay. What to do?
This was the turning point for my journey, I think. Everything came down to this night in the end. What I would do next, you know? I didn't have to follow the entity here, but I'm glad I did. I couldn't imagine life if I hadn't. But maybe there wouldn't be life if I hadn't.
What do you want me to do with this?
I knew what the entity wanted. It wanted me to play the record, to drop the needle, to broadcast the lush and soaring tunes of this masterful LP for the world to hear. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't know that exactly, but I had my suspicions.
There's nothing here. It's empty. Hey, not my fault. Do you know where it is? Does it have to be this record? What about one of the others? You can talk. Okay, fair enough. What do you want me to do? Oh, great. Now you're mute. Look, I'll swing into town in the morning and see if they have this record, this mystical Ultima LP legend or whatever.
So you just followed the entity to a radio tower a few miles from town? What is wrong with you?
Hey, don't pretend you wouldn't have done the same. It's like morbid curiosity and whatnot. I wanted to see what it wanted, why it's been living with us.
I had just thought your panda friend was getting to be a bit juvenile, so you picked up something more sinister looking.
Har har. So, I'm gonna go knock on Michael's door and swing to town, see if I can find this mystical Ultima LP legend.
Think that's a good idea? Think anyone really wants to talk to you after that stunt you pulled?
Hey, easy. Why are you always trying to make me feel bad? Anyway, I'll pay him a visit. You'll see. No one's mad at me. They've just been busy.
Hi. What do you want?
Oh, is Michael home?
Michael? Wah! There is no Michael who lives here. Only... Oh, you must want the house next door. Yeah, Michael lives there.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
That was weird. I've known Michael forever, and I swear to God, he always lived in that house. I needed to relax. I was letting all the paranormal get to me.
Yes? Can I help you?
Is Michael home?
Yeah, but he's sick. I'll let him know you rang the doorbell.
Right, okay. Cool. Nothing to worry about, see? Stupid panda. He's just sick. Probably. Hey man, I'm looking for this record. You've probably never heard of it, but it's called Mystical Ultima LP Legend.
Nah, man. I'm super into obscure music. I make all the choices here for the indie music. Let me check. Nah, we don't have it. It's like... Yeah, I think it's like sold out, dude.
Damn, okay. Anyway, can you order it?
The manager has to do that.
But don't you pick the indie music here? You literally just said that.
Hey man, lay off! Look, if you want something good, you can check out the Windtown Music Shop. They have a big selection, and they're usually down with the hip cat bands, you dig?
Yeah, okay, cool, thanks.
No worries.
Crap. I was gonna have to go all the way to Windtown to find this thing. I don't want to go alone. I wondered if Vella was at the arcade. Hey Vella, you busy?
Hey, what do you want?
So, it's a bit complicated. Can you get away from work for a bit? It's about Sammy and the entities and all that stuff.
How long do I need to be away for?
Not long, just need to run to Windtown. So 3 to 4 hours tops.
Are you serious? You want me to just walk away from my job for 3 to 4 hours?
It's important. Look, no one here really needs you to do your job. It'll be fine.
I need the money, Alex.
Hey, I'll pay you. What do you make an hourly? Minimum wage? I'll give you the $30.
Alex, you don't get it, do you? You have no idea what hard work is. You don't get having a purpose besides your own stupid whims. Do you get how hard it is to go from trying to save the world one afternoon to spending your every waking moment working at a friggin' arcade? 1 second, you're banishing entities and exploring conspiracies, then bam! You're stuck in a freaking New Jersey arcade making sure no mall rats are loitering. Sure, it got my DDR game to be amazing, but I'm used to honing my skills to something with more of a purpose. One day, Alex, when you finally get a job, you'll understand how everything can't be conspiracies and missing mysterious girls all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Wait, Alex. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have snapped like that.
No, I get it. That's how you feel about me. Nothing I can do to change it.
Alex, calm down.
No, it's fine. I'm everyone's punching bag. It's totally great. Just keep kicking me.
Get over yourself, Alex. Could you be any more of an entitled little brat?
Last night, an entity was in my house. I followed it to an old radio tower, and there I found this.
What the hell?
Yeah, the entity was in my house.
No, not that. I don't care about that. That happens all the time. This has to be a joke. Are you screwing with me? Where did you get that?
I told you it was in the radio tower.
But how did it get here?
What?
Look, do us all a favor and don't try to find that record. Just let it go.
But don't you think that this is all connected? Sammy vanishing, me meeting you, Rory, the entity appearing in my house.
Sometimes a record is just a record and an entity just lives in your house. Don't try and connect everything together like there is some giant cosmic plan. Look, don't look for that record.
Oh, I'm going to. You really can't stop me.
Alex! Oh, sometimes you just make me want to... Ah! If you find it, just leave me out of it. I want nothing to do with it.
What, do you, really hate this band or something?
Alex, just get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you for a while.
Sorry. Didn't mean to upset you. Oh, Michael, dude, glad to see you're feeling better.
What do you mean?
Your mom said you'd been under the weather when I stopped by this morning.
Oh, yeah. What are you up to?
I told Michael what had happened, and thankfully he seemed to believe me.
Okay, so let's hit up Windtown. While we're there, why don't we stop in and check on Rory? Make sure he doesn't hate our guts.
I almost got defensive. I almost pointed out how Rory endangered our lives with his stupid attention-seeking lie. But I let it go. At least externally. Okay, so where to first? Want to hit up the record place, and if we have time, go see Rory?
I think we should see Rory first, since that's more important. Jeez, dude.
Oh, hi. Are you Rory's friends? He doesn't get a lot of visitors. Why don't you come inside?
Oh, you guys. Yeah. Mom, I'm gonna take them downstairs. Come on.
You sure you don't want to come in and have something to eat?
Leave them alone, Mom.
Wow, Rory. Your mom is all legs.
Shut up. Shut up. What do you guys want? Find out any more information on Sammy?
Alex has something he wants to say to you.
I was out of line the other day. I was scared. I don't know what came over me. So, I'm hoping you can forgive me and can be friends. I think you're a cool guy, so, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It's okay. I overreacted. Also, I was wrong to lie to you guys. You had a valid point.
So, we're trying to track down this record. You wanna come with us?
Yeah, sure.
Alex has something he wants to say to you.
Look, you're cool and all, but it was pretty screwed up of you to lie to us like that, man. You put our lives in danger all because you wanted attention. Really not cool, man. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but seriously, come on.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm a piece of shit. I don't know what I was thinking. I always do this sort of thing to my friends.
Alex, what the hell?
Hey, we're looking for this record. It's called Mystical Ultima LP Legend. I've got the record jacket, but not the record. Any idea if it's in stock?
Mystical Ultima LP Legend. That has to be by far one of the greatest records ever recorded. It's otherworldly.
So you've heard of it?
Nah, man, it's out there. In the ether. That sounds like it's from a different world. Just by the name alone, I can tell it's amazing.
Any idea where we can get it? Can't you, like, order us a copy or something?
Let me check the record catalog. Does it have to be on vinyl?
I don't really care. I suppose I'd prefer it'd be more of an authentic sound, you know?
Yeah, but only if you're playing from a tube amp. You have a tube amp, right? If you don't, it's like you're only hearing half the song.
Dude, you get it!
Right on. Let me thumb through the catalog. Give me a second. Yeah, we don't have it in our catalog. But we have two sister stores that probably will. They're both east of here. If they don't have it, I know they'll at least know where to get it. A quest for great music is always a worthy one, man. I think you'll find this is worth it in the end.
Okay, yeah. We'll check it out. So they're both east of here. Any specific directions?
There's a strip mall east of here. That's the closest one. The one after that is northeast a bit. It's a standalone building. It's our flagship store, so I doubt you'll miss it. Good luck, guys!
So, you guys want to hit up the other two stores?
Yeah, I guess. Sounds like it could be fun.
Yes, I am down. Let's do this!
Easy there, Tiger.
So, Rory, tell us more about you. I don't think we know all that much.
Hi, I'm Rory. I'm a scene kid with a dead sister. That's it.
Wow. Dark, dude. Do you, like, have a job or any hobbies?
Yeah, I work at this shitty video store, Planet VHS. We can get you any movie 6 to 12 months after its continental US release on VHS. So basically, we suck.
Any plans for college or anything?
I don't really know if college is in the cards for me.
Why do you say that?
Well, after my sister died, my parents aren't really themselves. They've had a rocky relationship as it is, so I think if I left, everything would fall apart.
That's not your job. You don't have to keep your parents together.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like I have a responsibility to them. Do either of you have jobs?
I used to deliver papers, but nothing lately. Now my dad pays me to proofread the things he writes. Oh yeah, and Alex is unemployed.
I might be able to get you a job at Planet VHS.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just holding out for the right job. I'm not really in a rush.
Didn't you tell me on the way that your mom lost her job and you needed to help her out?
I think she was just saying that, but I know she wouldn't want to push me into anything I'm not ready for.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I graduated earlier this year. I have my BLA.
Oh, so let me know if you do want that job at Planet VHS. My manager has his BLA, and the night shift manager has his DMA in dance.
I'll find something. I just need to hold out a bit longer till it feels right.
When I moved from Frankton to Jet Set City to start college, I spent the whole bus ride mentally reviewing my 19 years and realizing that almost everything that had happened to me was pretty embarrassing. I'm not exaggerating. I didn't want to remember any of it. It was so pathetic. The more I thought about my life up to then, the more I hated myself. It wasn't that I hadn't been happy or hadn't enjoyed my high school experience. I could recall a handful of really great times, but if you added them up, shameful, painful memories far outnumbered the others. When I thought of how I'd been living, how I'd been approaching life, it was all so trite, so miserably pointless. When I made it to college, I knew this was a time for reinvention. All I needed to do was imagine the Alex I wanted to be and work towards him. Forget the old Alex and be someone worth being. Now that I'm here, floating with you, I don't know if I was approaching life right. Did any of it really matter? So anyway, I got to college. Made friends with people I never thought I'd hang out with. Got interested in poetry. Started listening to Dylan. I bought a guitar, never really learned. I got interested in novels and music. I was in with the hip crowd. But being hip doesn't mean you have direction. That isn't to say some of the kids I met weren't going places, and I hear many of them did. Just not me. I was too selfish, too unoriginal, too much of a parasite feeding off everyone's cool.
So, Michael, are you going to college?
Yeah, I am.
You don't sound so excited.
It's just scary. Not the leaving home part, I don't care about that. But you have 4 years to ensure that you have a future. It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? When my parents were kids, you didn't have to go to college. I bet in 10 years you'll need your master's to even be considered for a job. I'm also scared of the debt, you know?
Did your parents set up a college fund?
Nah, they didn't really have that kind of money. They did good for a while, but my dad's work hasn't been going so well.
Do you know what you want to go for?
My mom said that when she was a kid, mind you, I don't know if women were allowed in college back then. You just went for whatever you wanted, and the degree meant you were educated and had the qualities of a working professional. But now, pick a major, get good at it, stick to it, and maybe you'll get a job. It's 1999 and the economy is terrible compared to my parents' day. Imagine what it'll be like for our kids' if we don't get our shit together.
Yeah, it's scary, but you need to face that reality eventually. What are you leaning towards?
Computers, probably. Maybe I'll make computer games. I can't imagine they'll have a major for it. But I'm good at math, and I hear making games is all math.
Hey, when Japanese developers make games, do they program in Japanese?
Huh. I have no idea. I wonder if they have to translate programming language.
They don't. All programming is done in English, unless you're working in pure binary. Then you just have ones and zeros.
How do you know this?
Oh yeah, I've tried making games before. I used Objective-C. It's pretty fun. Not great at making graphics, but I'm getting there.
That's awesome! You'll have to show us something sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Most of them suck, but I'm getting better at it.
What, do you, learn from a book?
Yeah, I got this 5,000-page book on game programming. It came with a CD. Every day I try and do some of the example. I want to get to the point where I don't need to check the book if I want to add features.
Oh, I think that's the strip mall up there. Let's go get something to eat at Burger Joint before hitting up the record store.
I remember sitting at the Burger Joint wondering why I wasn't more like Michael or Rory. Michael, concerned about the future. Rory, someone who had something to aspire to. At the time, I told myself I had a purpose. I was looking for Semi Park. I was going to find her, save her, I don't know. Something was going to happen. Somehow there would be meaning in all this craziness.
So, how about that economy?
Yeah.
Really seems like the world is going to shit, doesn't it? First Alex loses Sammy, I lose Carrie, the economy is tanking. Future looks bleak in 1999, boys.
Must be Y2K.
What's Y2K?
It's some computer virus or something that's going to destroy modern society at midnight on New Year's.
Not exactly. Computers only count the last 2 digits of a number, so they don't know the difference between 2000 or 1900. This will cause various problems with dates and finances, and will probably cause a big mess. People all over the world are panicking. When 2000 rolls around, all the computers will crash and nuclear bombs will go off or something.
Is this real? Like, is this really going to happen?
Probably. I don't know. I think I'd kind of like to see it happen.
Definitely would shake things up.
What's wrong with you guys? That would cause serious problems. This is crazy. How have I never heard of this before?
Probably because you live under a posh little rock and only hear about the things your mommy wants you to hear about.
Screw you, man.
Maybe that's why everything is going to shit. Maybe the world will end in the year 2000. We'll all die, and our souls will float up into the soul space.
Could you imagine?
I could, but I didn't like it.
Do you really think Y2K could have something to do with Sammy's disappearance?
No, I mean, that's a computer problem, right? But then again, the world does feel like it's falling apart. All that war and whatnot overseas.
What wars?
Oh, there are a few, like the insurgency in Ogaden, Nepalese Civil War, Republic of the Congo Civil War, Kosovo War, Eritrean-Ethiopian War, Sierra Leone Civil War, and the war for our minds fought every day in the newspapers.
I had no idea there were so many wars happening. What are they fighting over?
Probably over the right to have more wars. Isn't that what war is usually about? War for war's sake?
So uninformed. Jeez, I used to read the newspaper in college, but I only read as Honest in 1999. Okay, enough of this depressing chatter. Shall we proceed to the record shop?
Shall we shall?
Let us shall. Hey man, do you have this record? It's called Mystical Ultima LP Legend.
Did you check the racks? What we have is what we have.
Oh, yeah, I did. Can you look in your computer or something?
Fine. Give me a minute. No, we don't have it. We have another store nearby. They'll probably have it. They have more of a selection.
Okay, thanks.
If you wait for the bus outside, the first stop is our flagship store. Only a 15-minute ride.
As we rode along the highway, I felt a sudden fondness for Rory and Michael. There was something fun about our little quest for this record. Far from my mind were the things that brought me here. Sammy's disappearance, the entities, Bella. She was probably still mad at me, fuming away at her arcade, taking out her anger at me on unsuspecting tweens. I wondered why she didn't want us to find the record. I wondered if she had some bad memories associated with it, or if there was something about entities that I didn't know yet. My mind turned to Y2K. Could the world really end this year? You asked me 6 months ago. I'd have laughed at you. But now that I've seen so much strangeness, could honestly say that stranger things have happened.
Hey man, I'm looking for this record. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Mystical Ultima LP Legend. I have the jacket, but I'm missing the record.
Do you come from the internet? Are you from Onism 1999?
What? Yeah, I mean, I go on there, but how did you know?
I'm guessing it wasn't you who posted that, was it? Haven't you checked the forums today? Somebody posted a photo of this record jacket, and they've been asking people if they have a copy. They said it had something to do with Semi Park's disappearance.
How do you know about Semi?
I go on the forum too, obviously. Yeah, I've been following Semi's story for a while. But aren't you the guy who posted the photos of her last known location?
I am, but wow, it's just, I had no idea anyone around here even knew about Semi. I'm just shocked.
Nice to meet you, man. I'm Claudio.
I'm Alex. This is Michael. He's the one who took the photos. And this guy here is Rory. He also works on Onism.
Aye, great. So you're looking for Mystical LP, huh? Well, sorry, we don't got it. But I do know where you can get it. It's gonna sound a bit odd. Hell, you know what? I'll come with you. I own this stupid place. I can take a break whenever I want.
Yeah, we're down. Where do we go?
There's this old guy. He's on a mountain south of here. He's a real chill guy, a bit out there, but he's got the biggest record collection on the East Coast. He's bound to have it. Let me just grab my sister. Hey, Chandra! Come here a minute!
What's up, Claudio?
I'm gonna run the marks for a bit. Do you wanna come with us?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get James to watch the front.
So, how do we get there?
It's a bit of a hike, but it's a nice walk. Head to the mountain south of here. He has a little cottage on top. Can't miss it. Let's take a break here.
So, how did you get interested in the disappearance of Sammy Park?
Can we not get into that now? I'm sick of hearing about that poor girl.
Easy, Chandra. I've been interested in missing people for a while. The idea of people vanishing is something that hits close to home, you know? So, I started going in chat rooms for people with missing kids, and someone on there was talking about Sammy Park. I followed the link, and it brought me to the Onism 1999 post. The one with the video of her on the elevator. I kept going back each day and keeping up with what you guys posted.
That's a little dark, isn't it? Going on chat rooms for parents of missing kids?
Oh, no, I don't, get off on it or anything. My little brother went missing when we were younger. I guess I still wonder if he's out there.
Okay, let's go see the wizard. I don't want to hear any more about missing kids. It really drains me.
Hey, Claudio, wait up. So you're into shoujo anime? That's cool. Most guys aren't brave enough to walk around in a shirt like that. Also, you do know that's a girl's shirt, right?
Girl shirt? Oh man, that's messed up. This is no more a girl's shirt than Mahou Shoujo Haru no Shimai is a girl's anime! This show represents everything that is good about life!
Oh, well, I've never seen it. I just, assumed it was a girl's anime with all the exploding flowers, pink, and Sailor Moon ripoff characters.
Oh, you see, man, that's where you're wrong. Mahou Shoujo Haru no Shimai is the quintessential human anime. Without this series, the art form would have never progressed. You see, while the anime premiered in 1985 in the US, there were already episodes of this magical series in production in Japan in 1977. Without this series, it's unlikely that Naoko Takeuchi would have written Sailor Moon. This series was revolutionary for its time and set the animation and writing standards for everything since. You see, each of the sisters' relationships with Father Seasons is different. Each one relates to him in a different way, as they struggle with being a season witch and being part human. If Father Spring had never laid with a human woman, the world would have been destroyed time and time again with his evil daughters, the Winter Sisters. It's the balance of humanity that allows them to control the powers. And don't even get me started with the soundtrack. Oh, the amazing blend of funk, jazz, and Japanese pop blows my mind every single time. Oh! There's an episode, season 16, episode 309, called Run Run Harunatsu, in which the Spring Sisters have to experience their powers as if they have been purely seasoned witches. This proves to me that...
Dude, this sounds like literally the most generic piece of crap ever. Just forget it. Enjoy your shitty girl anime. Don't involve me. Look, I am just as into Japanese crap as the next guy, but what you have borders on an obsession.
Hey man, it's great to see you! How you been?
Hey guys. Wow, did you get even more muscular, Claudio? And Chandra, did you get even more beautiful? Always changing for the better, you two.
I brought my friends, Alex, Michael, and Rory with me. They wanted to check out your record collection and see if you could help them locate an album.
Friends of Claudio and Chandra are always friends of mine. Please, have a seat. I'll make some tea.
So my new friends here wanted to talk about some elusive record they can't seem to track down.
We've been looking for it for a while. We've been to literally like 10 record shops. Claudio says you've got quite the collection.
I do indeed. So what sort of music interests young people these days? Hair metal, power metal, speed metal, metallic metal, pop punk thrash metal?
I mean, I'm not really into metal. I mean, it's cool.
That's more of Vella's thing, I think. The eyeliner and choker.
Who is this enchanting young woman? Is she here as well?
No, she isn't here. She threw a hissy fit when she found out we were looking for this record.
Hissy fit? Do people even say that?
I don't believe they do. So what sort of music are you into, Alex?
Oh, usually down-tempo stuff with trumpets, acoustic guitars, bells, toy pianos, and female vocalists singing sexually ambiguous lyrics.
I don't think I have anything like that. Perhaps you noticed my collection of guitars?
Yeah, I think I saw it on the way in. Do you play?
I do.
Mark here made his fortune playing music. Well, before he became a world traveler. Mark sponsored the Bring Him Home concert for my cousin who fought in the Gulf War.
That was long before you could even walk. Hell, I was a kid then.
The power of metal unites all. You see, heavy metal is the oral manifestation of all things good and powerful in the world. It contains the perfect positive energies to dispel hate, racism, sexism, poverty. With the power of the metal gods channeling through my guitar strings, I was able to bring peace and prosperity to the Middle East.
Well, he got our cousin home.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I got ahead of myself. I brought peace to one family whose son had been taken captive. It's a harrowing tale filled with adventure and intrigue.
Yeah, I don't know if we really have time for that. And besides, like I said, I'm not really all that into metal. With all the
had fashions and teased hair. It's also 80s. This is the 90s. We're moving forward. Our music is about things.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that you don't mean to imply that heavy metal can't be about things. Clearly, you've never heard the soaring scream of the guitar paired in perfect counterpoint to an orchestra, accompanied by the sound of 1,000,000,000,000 angels. You, my dear boy, must listen to my greatest hit, Murder Run and Melancholia Reigns Unbroken.
It's a lot less depressing than it sounds. All of Mark's music is like that. He has albums and albums filled with skeletons and decaying corpses. But somehow he manages to make music that speaks to the soul. Like Scene of Decay, The Stoned, Part 9. The first few songs of that album are really beautiful, Alex. Disfigured by Eliga's on High Altar of Honor. That is my personal favorite. I used to hula hoop to it all the time.
One of Mark's tracks were featured in some pretty great animes. Dragon of Thy Delusion and Powered by Delirium were featured in my second favorite anime, Panic Control.
Yeah, okay, enough about this topic. Can you tell me about this tea we're drinking?
This here is something I only bring out when friends are over. It's called Da Hong Pao. It's a world-famous tea, exceptionally rare and difficult to come by. The bushes that produce this tea are reportedly over 1,000 years old. Make sure you don't spill a drop. This is very special tea.
Where did you get this? It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, right? I can't explain to you in detail how all these circumstances are related. It would be a very long and very complicated story. And I mean no disrespect to you when I say this. It would be virtually impossible for you, at this stage, young man, to understand. Now, you are, of course, in no way responsible for this, but I'll do my best to explain the circumstances by which I came to possess this rare leaf. In my youth, I was something of a traveler. I lived for journeying and discovery. I had a partner, a very good man, who became ill in his mid-30s. At the time, I considered myself to be very worldly. I lived for the dirt under my feet, but I also did not believe in the supernatural in any form. Alas, my partner came down with a severe stomach cancer that began to claim his life. He was a spiritual man, one might say, and he believed in miracles. His faith and his failing body led to the ending of our friendship. He left for India, and I stayed back in Arizona, where I'd built a life for myself in between trips. He was gone for many weeks when I received a letter from him. The letter was scribbled in the handwriting of a dying man. It featured coordinates that, upon further inspection in an atlas, proved to be in the mountains of India. So, I began my journey. After many days of travel, I arrived at the summit of Mount Kangchenjunga. I paid a local village boy to guide me to the location. At the top, I found my friend. My friend who only a few weeks ago had been on the brink of death, had been cured through the power of water. The water boiled in the particular style of pots created by the Dharabeta yogis is said to have amazing healing powers. Now, when my friend had regained his strength tenfold, I was in shock. I longed to take a sample of this drink back to an American laboratory where it would be tested and ultimately turned into a cure. But I was told that the last bush bearing the tea had burned up in a forest fire. Naturally, I demanded proof. There was no evidence that any such fire ever occurred. Angered, furious, on the point of striking the yogis, my friend had to take me away. Together, we explored the mountainside for the remainder of the week. Now, despite my anger that they would not let me test the tea, everything had been incredibly happy. In India, I've always felt an incredible glow of joy. On our last day, before we were to return, the earth gave out beneath my feet, and I was stuck. Soon a storm came. The storm was so bad, I feared it would wipe away the mountain, and I'd be stuck in a landslide. This is where things became interesting. My friend was able to break away at the rocks, binding my feet with his bare hands. He had expelled the disease from his body and achieved a new strength. I believe I would have died on that mountain had it not been for him. I hold true to the fact that he survived his cancer so he could save me. When we returned, the yogi hermit had left his camp, but he left behind the pot he created to cure my friend's cancer and a container of this tea.
Wow. That's a fascinating story, man. Really, this is an amazing cup of tea.
Yeah. You know, it's valued at $3,000 an ounce. So, what did you kids come for? How can I help you?
Oh, my friend Alex here is looking for a record. It's called Mystical Ultima LP Legend.
That name. It sounds so familiar. How did you find out about this mystical LP?
I found the jacket. Here, I have it with me.
Ah, yes. The Mystical Ultima LP Legend by Vella Wild.
Did you say Vella Wild?
Yeah. But didn't you know this already? It's on the cover. Did you even read it?
Suddenly, everything made sense. Well, at least a little bit of sense. Vella, the guitar, her ability to fight with sound. Clearly, she was the musician, the creator of this record. How stupid I had been. I told her about the record, and she must have assumed I read the title closely. Vella Wild. Probably a stage name.
Did I say something wrong? You, kind of stopped talking for a while and looked all deep in thought.
I just realized something.
Yeah, the mind is like that. You keep many things hidden away, and they come out when they're the most needed. Did you ever consider that this record might be locked away inside your mind? And if not yours, maybe inside the mind of this Wild character?
Damn. So you don't have it?
No, how could I? It hasn't come out yet.
What?
Check the date on the back of it. See the sticker? Do not sell until January 1st, 2000. Since I'm not a time traveler, well, at least in this life, I couldn't possibly have this record. You kids should pay closer attention to your record jackets. They have lots of useful information on them.
Thanks a lot, Mark. I know where to find this record now.
What? You do? How?
I'll explain some stuff when we get outside. Claudio, Chandra, there's some things I want to let you in on, especially since you've been so kind to me since we've met. Okay, a lot of this is going to sound out there, and I know that. So listen to the sincerity in my voice, and not so much the absurdity of the words I'm going to say.
Hey, that sounded pretty deep. Oh, sorry, man. Go on.
I'm not entirely sure of what's going on myself, so some of the parts might seem a little hazy. Okay, here it goes. When I arrived home from college earlier this year, I met Sammy Park. I had followed a cat into an old factory, and I found her there. She was alive and well, a bit odd, but pretty great, to be honest. I tried to help her get out of the building, and some beings known as soul survivors appeared and took her away. I later met a woman named Vella, who told us that the soul survivors are beings from another reality, one like our own. She said that these beings have surrendered the right to their physical form in favor of a spiritual one. With this power, they could move within the soul space, which is the space in between realities. Then we met Rory, and Rory had recently lost his sister and encountered a soul survivor himself. Then I found out that one of these beings was living with me. I chased it out of my house and then into a radio tower. At that radio tower, it asked me to play this record, to broadcast it. So that's why I've been looking for it. Okay, that's fair. I didn't expect you to believe me.
Rory, you lost your sister? I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Losing a sibling is a terrible burden on any person. Let us know if you need anything.
Yeah, what's going on here?
We've lost someone before. You know what it's like. Maybe that's what drew me to the Sammy Park case.
I see. What about the soul survivors and all that?
Let's say we've had experience with the supernatural before.
I had a kid brother, you know. He went missing in 1985. Got on his bike one day to go to our neighbors, 7 houses up the street. And he just vanished. Never came back. We looked for him for months. Dad never stopped. Still hands out flyers at the grocery store every Sunday. He even got an artist to draw him aged.
Were there ever any leads or anything?
No one really ever investigated it. Sure, they looked around for him. And for a week they had a task force. They had one guy they suspected. But every lead fell through.
You act like they even tried. A 4-year-old black kid goes missing in a shit neighborhood, and you think they really tried?
Yeah, it's complicated, Alex.
I don't remember this being on the news or anything, and you're from Windtown, right? That's like an hour outside of Frankton. How the hell did this get national coverage?
Isn't it obvious, man? Same reason no one gives a shit about Sammy Park.
I'm sure if Aaron had been a beautiful white woman, everyone would have cared that he vanished. Everyone would have had a candlelight vigil and a moment of silence. But that's just not how these things work. And you know what's funny? My dad is a lawyer, and my mom was an assistant to the governor. It's not like we were shit no one people, you know? It just wasn't news or whatever they told us.
Alex, don't you think Sammy's parents tried to get some attention for their daughter's disappearance? It's not that easy. Those people you see on TV are people who can make a great story for the press. That's just the way it works.
I don't think I ever gave it any thought.
Yeah, man. That's just how they get away with it. People like you don't think about it. And people like us, it's all we ever get to think about. Where our kid brothers went.
Don't you think it's weird that a young woman goes missing in your town and only people talking about it are some weirdo kids on the internet? And they aren't really talking about it for awareness. You guys get off on it in a way, don't you? Some fantasy about being the white knight swooping in and saving the exotic Korean girl.
Easy now. Okay. Let's go find this record. Where do we do that again?
You guys are coming along? Awesome! Back to Frankton. We need to speak with Vella, the girl who made this album.
I hate to admit it, but sometimes I just wish we could let him go. My younger brother, you know? Not a day goes by where I don't think about him. And you know what's really funny? I don't even remember what he looks like. We have a few old photos, but most of them he just looks like every other kid to me. Round-faced, happy, playing video games, or falling off a bike.
You don't remember anything about him?
No, I don't think so. I think I only remember what people tell me about him. And you know what's funny? He was my twin brother. I was a minute older than him. Claudio still gets frustrated with me sometimes. You're his twin, can't you feel him out there? Or don't you have special twin powers that let you know if he's in pain? I don't believe in that stuff. Well, not usually. Sometimes I do. It's in those moments that I really do think he isn't out there anymore. If there was a connection, I'd feel something. And since there is nothing there, he must be gone. Sometimes people just vanish. They are there one moment and gone the next. Bad people take them, they fall into sewers, but life has to move on. It's harder for my parents, I think, since they made him and whatever. But Claudio, I don't think he'll ever move on. It's all he thinks about. and finding this Sammy Pat girl, this obsession you brought onto him, this shit isn't fair. He had one dead kid to worry about never finding, and now you gave him another.
I asked the others to stay back while I spoke with Vella myself. I knew I needed to apologize alone. As I walked across the chewing gum and popcorn-covered floor, I imagined what the title of my quest would be if my life was a video game. Quickly, it was becoming Apology Quest, or Legend of Please Forgive Me. I wondered how many other people I'd have to say I'm sorry to before I found Sammy, if that's even where life was taking me. Lately, Sammy wasn't at the forefront of my thoughts. I wanted to find her, and I really wanted her to be safe. But the more time that passed between meeting her and thinking about her, she became less real. More of a concept, more of a mythical being that only existed in my mind and the mind of the internet.
Oh, hey. What's up?
I came here to say I'm sorry. In my infinite arrogance and constant thinking of myself, I didn't look at the record properly. I had no idea you created it. I had no idea it would upset you. So basically, if you'll still be my friend, I'd very much like that.
Okay. I accept.
Okay, great. I expected to do more begging.
Don't push your luck. Just let it go. Who are... Oh, Michael! Rory! New friends? Hey, new friends!
It was easier than I expected. Now, to convince her about getting the record. I introduced her to Claudio and Chandra. We went to the burger joint and talked about everything that had happened up to this point. They told her about their brother. Rory talked about his sister. Michael talked about his college fears. And I just listened. I never expected to find such an amazing group of friends so close to home. It was a great feeling. And now came the tricky part. To ask her to go inside of the mine dungeon with me and look for the record. Vella, can I ask you a personal question?
I suppose.
So, I was wondering if you could tell us about the record. The one you made.
What's there to tell? In my previous reality, I made a record. Pretty simple.
Can you tell us why a record jacket from the album you made in another reality that was set to be released next year was found in this reality?
I have no idea. You do realize I left that reality behind intentionally, right? There are reasons I wanted to escape.
Yeah, no, I get it. Just, I wonder if it's somehow linked to everything going on.
I'm telling you, Alex, you're looking for puzzle pieces where there is no puzzle. You're talking like there's some cosmic plan here. What exactly do you think is going on here?
It's all so weird. Sammy disappearing, me meeting you, then Rory, Chandra, and Claudio, we're all linked.
Fine. If it will make you stop sulking, I'll go with you into the mine dungeon. I'd like to know why my record is here myself.
I'm a little confused here, guys. How the hell does Alex know the record is in your mine dungeon?
Because I know she's trying not to think about it. And the things we try not to think about always end up on our minds.
That seems like more of a stretch than the link between Sammy and the record to me, but sure, I've got nothing else to do. Let's get inside Bella's head.
Okay, just keep your hands to yourself while we're in there, boys. It's creepy enough letting one person in my mind.
What are you making today? Making some soup for dinner?
Vella asked us to listen to the record before we broadcast it. There was a certain aura of unease surrounding her. She pretended it had to do with not knowing what would happen after we broadcast the record. But I knew something else was wrong.
So, I bet you're all wondering why I insisted we play this here.
I think it's obvious. You want us to listen to music, and Alex's spoiled ass has the best sound system out of the six of us.
That's actually correct. Back in my reality, I had written an album. This album. But I guess you already knew that. Anyway, just listen. I hope you enjoy what I made.
It's beautiful, Vella.
Yeah, really nice.
Better than I could do.
It's
nice. Not what I normally listen to. But I can tell it's good for the genre. Probably.
I could tell that she wasn't happy with our replies. But none of us knew what to say. The music had shown us a side of Vella that we had never expected to see. A sort of vulnerable side. I felt compelled to chase after her, to tell her the music was beautiful and that she was incredible. But my feet didn't move. I remained as still and as silent as everyone else. My body motionless. I surveyed everyone's eyes, willing my brain to bind with theirs and get what they had been thinking. Had they all hated it? What had triggered such a lack of enthusiasm?
You should go after her. It's what I'd want. Let her know it was great.
If this is Vella's album, why was a guy singing on it?
I almost cried.
I hope she's okay. You gonna talk to her, man?
Hey man, sorry I haven't called lately.
Can't deal with this now.
Oh yeah, sorry. Anyway, she's at the playground. Go get her, Tiger.
I want to tell you the rest of my story. How I came to be in this reality with you. But I want you to promise not to judge me.
I won't judge you.
I have come to understand certain things. Things I know to be true. Things that I know others wouldn't understand unless they had experienced them. Before I can begin my story, I need you to understand the basics of how I have come to understand the universe. The link between our bodies and physical space is strong, but it is nothing compared to the link between our minds and physical space. Our bodies exist as a visual representation of our minds. They are nothing more. Every mind has the capability of transcending physical form. Many do, even if they don't realize it. The very nature of physical reality is very unphysical. Humans have evolved to ignore the complexities and realities of the universe by using physical form to protect them from the harshness of existence. The very nature of being is to be in pain, is to long for and to be unfulfilled. To cope, we developed corporeal form. The use of physical form is not unlike leaving the light off at all times, obstructing the undesirables in the room. Do you understand what I'm saying so far?
More or less. Please, continue.
When I entered your reality, I was a much different person than I am now. My reality was much worse than this one. I was a girl who was entirely lost. From a young age, people thrust their expectations on me. They believed I was destined for artistic greatness. I was a child prodigy in many ways. I had peaked by my early teens, and I was no longer able to perform or create at a level that could match the adults around me. I was, for all intents and purposes, a disappointment. Picture for a moment being a young girl who can't do wrong. Everything I created, everything I said impressed those around me. I was the perfect child artist, but that's all I ever was. When I became an adult, my body grew, but my artistry remained childlike. I considered quitting piano, considered removing myself from art altogether, but something pulled me back. Somewhere along the course of my life, I had developed an artist's mentality. I knew I wasn't a good adult artist, but I was still compelled to create. And with each new thing I tried, I continued to disappoint those around me. It was May 22nd, 1996, when I met the man who would fix this for me. At 3:02 a.m., I walked into a music club in the city. It was on stage, playing to a small but enthusiastic audience. Each note he played on his guitar seemed to tell me something that I had always known but had never really understood. After he finished, I knew that I had to speak with him. It wasn't before long that we became both romantically and artistically involved. It was as if knowing him had somehow broken the seal around my mind that was preventing me from creating something worthwhile. The lack of refinement to his playing freed me from the confines of rhythmic and artistic regularity. I don't mean to suggest that he was lacking in technical refinement, just that a certain jubilation came through in his playing that I had never experienced. Our relationship was like a whirlwind of physical and emotional affection. Never had I given myself to someone so literally and spiritually before. Together, we wrote A Distant Voice, and I knew that I still had the hopes of being not only a good artist, but an interesting human being. Something terrible happened on May 22nd of 1997. At 3:02 p.m., his daughter had come home and found us together. He hadn't yet told his children about me. I was a much younger woman. He followed her out and into a coffee shop. I waited for them to return, hating myself more and more for entering his life and making it difficult. I waited there until 3:02 a.m., completely beside myself. And the strange thing is, he never returned. He never came back into his own apartment. I stayed there for a few days, knowing he'd have to come back eventually. And he simply never did. I called his friends, I called his manager, and they all said they hadn't seen him. Just like that, he slipped through the cracks of my reality and never returned.
And you never saw him again?
I did. It was May 22nd, 1998, 12:01 p.m. A minute into the first concert I had put on since his disappearance. I had refused to do our music live or release A Distant Voice until I had seen him again. Finally, legal pressure forced me to schedule a release for May 22nd, 1999, with a year-long tour to promote it. I watched in terror from behind my piano as he wrapped his arm around a girl even younger than I. This girl was not his daughter, though she was probably his daughter's age. I left the stage and receded into myself. The man who placed his arms around that young woman was not the same man who placed his arms around me so many times. It couldn't have been. The man I knew would not have put on such a display of affection, knowing it could hurt someone so much. It was in that moment that I longed to leave my reality behind, to sever my ties to my physical form and exist in a different space. For many days, nights, minutes, seconds, I sat in my bed, slowly drifting further into my own depression, slowly pulling my mind from my body. When the separation happened, it was almost immediate. It was so sudden that the painful moments leading up to it felt trivial. I was just my mind, and I had left my physical body behind. I floated until I found a reality that seemed different from mine. Hoping to find a reality that contained the him I knew. Hoping that he had fallen into this reality, and we could be together again.
Was his voice the one we heard on the record?
No, it wasn't. I don't know whose voice we heard. I was so nervous sharing that music with you guys, I almost didn't realize it wasn't me singing.
Well, everyone loved it. It was amazing.
Really? I can never tell what people think when I show them my songs. Well, what should we do now?
Lead the way.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think I misread that situation.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Let's go back inside and whatever. Just not that whatever.